I love Game of Thrones as much as the next person, but what are we doing here? Seriously, welcome back everyone. Today we are here to answer this question ideally as we reflect on House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 1, Salt and Sea, Fire and Blood, which is the newest episode for House of the Dragon that just came out on Sunday night. I watched it last night. I've had some time to think about it, to reflect, to talk about it with people, and now I'm here to give you my thoughts on this episode and try to figure out just what exactly we are doing here. Before we get into it, I want to know, how are you feeling about the state of Game of Thrones so far, right now, at this point in time? I mean, we have had 2 previous seasons of House of the Dragon. Now we're starting season 3. We just finished A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which I absolutely adored. And I want to know, where are you at? Maybe you aren't even here with us. Maybe you checked out a long time ago and you were just served this video. If that is you, also give me your thoughts. I just want to know where people are at right now with Game of Thrones and how we're feeling. Let's start off though with the things that I really liked. First of all, I did like the Battle of the Gullet. I thought that that was all very well done, and I think for many people that will be the highlight of this episode. For me, it was the highlight of the episode. I think just seeing all of the ships and the fighting, and I mean, when we have Lohar's ship ramming the Sea Snake ship, and then everyone's climbing on board, that was absolutely insane. And I definitely feel that the Battle of the Gullet is the main sort of piece to this episode. It is really what the episode is all about, what we're building towards with everything. Granted, we're also setting some stuff up for what is to come at Harrenhal and beyond, which we'll talk about as well in a little bit. When it comes to this sea battle, though, that was absolutely great. I thought the battle itself was really well handled. It looked amazing. I was on the edge of my seat. Even Sheepstealer coming in and being feral, which I know is not something that is mentioned in the book, the feralness. Sheepstealer is at this battle, but it is different. But I even liked that because it felt like I didn't know at any moment what was going to happen. I didn't know what was going to happen to Jace, and I was on the edge of my seat watching everything that transpired with him and Bela and them riding in, and the fact that they locked Rhaenyra up. I thought all of that was absolutely crazy to get us to this point. And even though I think there is some issues maybe that I have with some of the writing in this episode, overall, the general vibes of the battle just made up for any writing that I thought was a little like, I don't know about that. Also, I loved seeing the Tyroshi here again. I loved Lohar, and so seeing that character come back and seeing how we dealt with all of that and the Sea Snake versus Lohar, I thought that was all amazing. The fact that they were lured into this sort of trap in the strait, and then Lohar's ship is the only one that survives, and then we end up with this big clash between these two sides, and who will win the battle was amazing. But then also what's happening around that, and when you think about this battle just in terms of the cost of what it cost the Blacks, it is a high cost battle. Sure, they won the battle, but they lost Jace. We lost our heir. And they also have a making of video on YouTube, so if you want to check out more about the behind the scenes of how it was made, I think it's really cool. They put a lot of effort, a lot of money into this battle, and a lot of detail into it, and you can tell when you're watching it. You just feel like you're there. You can almost feel the ocean sea like hitting you in the face in this fight. It's crazy. There was another element of the episode that I also really liked. I liked our little update with where Lord Larys and King Aegon are at, and the fact that they essentially get captured because Aegon will not bow to Rhaenyra being the one true queen. Obviously, he is the king, so he takes some issue with that. And rather than try to play it off as like, well, it's just, I'm just not, I want to bow, but like I gotta bad knee or something like that. Lord Larys is just like, you know what? I can see that this is not going to work. I'm just going to be real with you guys and be like, guess what? That's Aegon. I'm Larys. I'm the hand. You caught us. Take us in. And obviously Larys does that because he knows that that can be used as a bargaining chip to keep them alive. And it will also maybe deliver them into the hands of someone who will want to use them potentially, if they can't escape before then. I do think he's got some other plans, but I love the whole way that was played. I loved Aegon's reaction to all of that. Is crazy, and I can't wait to see what kind of journey they get up to. However, not everything was good in this episode, and it was kind of a mixed bag for me. There was stuff that I really liked about it, like the battle and like some of our updates with the characters. And I mean, the acting I still absolutely adore. I think everyone's doing an amazing job in this show, continues to do an amazing job with the show. I think some of the visuals for the show are so strong in this episode. And then we have other shots that are just, what are we doing? And then some of the story in the script is questionable. It's really a mixed bag, guys. I mean, I will also say no Otto in this episode. I'm a little sad. I know we're going to get to him eventually this season. I know I just need to be patient. But where is Otto Hightower? Where is my boy, Drip Otto? I need him back here. I feel like for a lot of the show, he was such a strong pillar of the direction of where we were going. And I said in season 2, and I'll say it again here, when Otto left, I really feel like the wheels fell off season 2. Otto leaving was like the beginning of the end. Everything up to that point, I actually was having a really good time with. Then Otto dipped, and just everything went to hell, honestly. But there are some problems that I have with the direction that we're going in with characters. I think we have Aemond on one hand, who I feel like we're trying to build more parallels between him and Daemon. The idea of Aemond being into his mom and the kiss with him and Alicent. What are we doing here? Do we understand who Aemond Targaryen is? Because I think the character that we built him up to be, based on everything that's come before, does not really coincide with him being thirsty for his mom. And I believe this was not mentioned in the book. Like I said, I haven't read it, but I have asked people that have read. Granted, I also know the book doesn't go into details, so you could, in theory, add that in there. We don't really go into so much like, what is this person thinking about? Are they into their mom? I don't know. We don't necessarily go into all of that, but it does feel like we're trying to build up these parallels between Aemond, the second son, Daemon, second son. Aemond doesn't get a rule. Daemon doesn't get a rule. Maybe Aemond wants to rule. That's never really been a thing for him, I don't think. He just didn't love that Aegon got all of this stuff when he wasn't a good son, whereas Aemond has done everything right, and he has to struggle so much more in his life. So I do think he's resentful of his brother, but he is always loyal to his family. Daemon oftentimes he's loyal to his family to a point. When Daemon wants to do what he wants to do, he does what he wants to do. And the other thing is, Daemon obviously has this very complex relationship with his mom. I think he clearly did not feel that he got enough love, and he was very jealous of his brother. And so even though he loved Viserys, he was jealous of him. We went through all of that last season in Harrenhal, and I don't want to go back. I honestly feel like I was trapped in Harrenhal for 30 days and lost my mind with Daemon while I watched all of that happen, because it felt like the same ghosts again and again every night, and it was just a lot. They gave Daemon a lot to do, and yet it always felt like it was the same thing. So while it was character development, it never really goes anywhere. And now I feel like in this season, they're going to say, well, we did all that with Daemon last season, so we don't have to do as much with him this season. Instead, let's focus on Aemond and apparently lower him down to Daemon's moral level. I don't know. It just feels like they're trying to flatten Aemond into more of a two-dimensional character, because he is kind of a monstrous looking guy. He's got a big dragon. He's got an eye patch. He looks really kind of sinister, and yet I feel who Aemond really is a kid that is scared. He's just a scared little boy, and he loves his family, and he would do anything for them, and that's it. I don't even think, even though he wanted, I believe, to marry his sister instead of Aegon, I don't even think that's a romantic thing at all. I don't think that's that he wanted to be with Helena physically. I think he just saw the way that Aegon treated Helena, knew who Aegon was, and he was like, I don't want that for my sister. Like, I would be the better husband for her. But he also accepts, this is my position, and it is what it is. And I just feel we've lost so much of what I loved about that character. and he's now being twisted into something that it feels like he isn't. This show just kind of wants to focus on like the flashy, gross parts of being a Targaryen. Like they're like, being a Targaryen is you're crazy and you're violence and you want to be with these people in your family, and that's your whole thing. That's your whole thing. That's it. There's no depth. There's nothing there. When instead of them trying to flatten Aemond as we're heading towards where we're heading, and if you read the book, you know. If you haven't, I'm not going to spoil anything. But where we're going, I think what they decided to do was flatten Aemond's character as opposed to giving Daemon more depth. And I don't understand why that was the approach, because we also have Matt Smith as Daemon, who is an amazingly talented actor who could probably handle anything you threw at him. And this is what we're doing with Daemon and Aemond. This is what we decided we want to do. I'm just hoping that we're going to get back to who Aemond really is, and this part of this episode will feel like a fever dream and I can kind of forget about it. I'm hoping that this is just a moment in time where Aemond maybe felt like, I don't know. I need to feel loved. I don't know. I miss when we just had him with his lady at the brothel house. Those were the times, weren't they? Those were the times. It used to be so good. How did we get here? So I feel that everything we're building with that is really concerning. And then the other implication that I have there is we also have Nettles erasure happening. In the books, there's this character named Nettles. Nettles is the one that ends up on Sheepstealer. She also has a relationship with Daemon in the book. This isn't a spoiler, I don't think, because I don't think we're going to get Nettles at this point. But what it makes me nervous for is now Rhaena's on Sheepstealer. And what they're doing with Aemond and Alicent, it's making me a little nervous about what they might try to do with Daemon and Rhaena. And I know that Daemon's got his own thing going on. I understand he's with Rhaenyra. So, there's that. But I think that is very different than his relationship with his daughters. And I'm hoping that we're not going to go there, because we don't need to go there. It's not in the book. So if we're not going to have Nettles, then let's just not do that part, I think. But there is still a part of me that's hopeful that Nettles will appear somehow. I don't know, because now we've given Rhaena Sheepstealer. I feel like we've gone so far off script. I just don't understand how we get back on track. And the motivations feel like they're kind of all over the place for these characters. It feels like where we started with these characters and where we are now, I don't even know sometimes why people do things in this story. So I'm hoping we can get back to just motivations that make sense, that feel driven by everything we've built. Maybe I'm alone in that, but let me know what you think. And let me know what you think of this episode in general. That's really all I have to say about this. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts. I can't wait to talk about it more. And let me know what you're thinking of the start to House of the Dragon Season 3 in the comments. I'll see you down there, and until next time, friends, as always, stay nerdy. Bye! And if you love hearing me talk about film, we do that here, and you can check out more of that over here.